I spent my entire youth playing and most importantly loving video games. Whenever I would get pocket money, I would save it up and then I would go to a Game Mania or a Bart Smith and buy whatever game caught my eye, whichever looked most interesting in that month's issue of Power Limited. I'd play any game I acquired front to back and completely and totally immerse myself in its world and just get lost and always have a blast no matter what. I just unapologetically loved video games and never turned a blind eye to any developer or any genre. I truly loved it all. But then I got into my late high school years. I was dating, I was spending more time doing whatever it was outside, and even through good personal development, gaming was becoming less and less common in my daily life. And then in 2015, I met my wife, and less than 2 years later, I moved to Australia at age 18 to be together. There were many trials and tribulations. We managed to live on our own, fresh out of home, fresh out of high school. We managed it, barely, but we did. And in that period, 2017 to 2018, when I finally first lived alone, I played more video games than ever before. Doom 2016, the DMC reboot, Dishonored, Max Payne 3, Sleeping Dogs, Hotline Miami 1 and 2, all 3 Bioshock games, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and so many more. And you know what? Even though we were working our guts out to survive, having no savings and paying crazy amount of rent as teenagers realistically, I had so much fun, and I look back at that time with much appreciation for the lessons I learned as well as the moments we had together. A couple years passed and the pandemic came, and because of circumstances in 2019 I was without a computer for almost a year and a half, and didn't have enough money to purchase one until around October of 2020. For the first 2 years I did really appreciate having a PC again, and I truly loved playing games. Cyberpunk 2077, the Yakuza series, the Dark Souls games, Sekiro, Nioh, Elden Ring, but since those days in early 2022, I've had a burnout from games so great, I'm wondering if that once so great love for the medium will ever come back to me at this point. It's been over 3 years, and I can really only say that I've enjoyed 3 games in that entire time. Catherine, F1 23, and Ready or Not, and that's it. I feel like this disassociation from video games, as well as my complete apathy towards them, has come from a number of factors, both the lack of feeling accomplished in my daily life, and my imposter syndrome type of fears that I'm inadequate, both to myself and the people around me, plus my doubtless unhealthy obsession with success and what that means to me, has cast a bigger and bigger shadow over my life in the past few years. Today I wanted to ask what you guys think. Am I crazy? Or will I, by giving it some time, eventually just regain what I once loved, as if it never left? That does seem the more obvious answer, but sometimes I feel like a fool and an idiot rolled into one. Someone who hid behind video games to shield myself from the real world and what I eventually want to achieve in said world. I hold myself to a very high standard in many ways, and I always work on improving myself wherever I can. I want to help people, entertain people, care for people, and make them happy. All the while I'm an absolute shambles. And that's always been my weakness. I could never stop and do something that benefits me. It's always been about others to me. Whether it was my mom or dad, my partner, or my friends. I never liked being the center of attention, and I do my very best to take the spotlight off of myself. But at the same time, I want to overcome that fear and stand tall and proud and think that in the recent times, especially after all the hardship of 2024, I'm well and truly getting better at standing up for myself, my dreams and ambitions. I have so many things on my mind that I still want to get to, and I'm someone who wants to do it all at once. But obviously that doesn't work and leads to more disappointment and failures. So I have to remind myself to take it one thing at a time, and I know I'll succeed. Anyway, this was about video games, not my mental health. I really want to love gaming again, because there are a million different things coming out in the next year or two that I'm so excited to play, even if I don't have a PC good enough to, as well as plenty of games and franchises I've never even touched before that came out years and years ago that I really want to get into. I thought it might be fun to go over some of those. Why not? Let's get away from the melancholy woe is me and more towards the thing I'm trying to get hooked on again. So whenever I come home from work, I don't stare at my library for an hour before just turning off my computer and going to bed anyway, at which point I'll just lie there and fail to fall asleep for the following hour. That's something I want to stop dead in its tracks ASAP. Regardless, Resident Evil 1 to 8. Never played any of them. They look so much fun, and I would love to get into the lore in the world, because I've always been too much of a scaredy cat to try them. But these days horror doesn't get to me as much as it used to. Same goes for Silent Hill, especially the first 4. I'd absolutely love to play them, but yeah, just haven't gotten around to it. Always been hoping I'd become a successful streamer or something, so I can play those games with an audience, and I can build up a bit of bravery. But I guess you need to stream to do that, and I've never dared to commit to that as much as I probably should. I just don't think I'm entertaining enough. Often I wonder how those big streamers do it and keep that facade up. I guess they get paid plenty, but it's still impressive to me. Anyway, games, yes. Age of Empires has always looked like a lot of fun, considering I've always been an RTS fan. Same goes for Company of Heroes. Oh, and also Dead Space. As a teen, I was way too scared, but it would be super fun now, I reckon. Would love to play the other Devil May Cry games too, considering I've only touched the reboot, and I wasn't that impressed. The music was good though. When it comes to my favorite genre, RPGs, there are just so many titles I still want to delve into. Baldur's Gate, Pathfinder, Pillars of Eternity, Gothic, Risen, Elex, etc, etc. Oh my god, dude, the entirety of the Warhammer franchise, especially Total War and the Dawn of War games, that's a whole nother can of worms, that one. The biggest 2 franchises though that I haven't gotten to have to be Final Fantasy and Half-Life. Especially Half-Life almost feels blasphemous with the amount of games I've played in my life. On top of all this, I want to go back and play all the stuff that I loved as a kid, because I'm pretty sure that I'll love all that stuff now. I've just gilded myself into the idea that it's a waste of time to play things you've completed. And that word bothers me so much, because back in the day, I didn't care whether or not I had completed it, I just played because I enjoyed it. And as an adult, it feels completely task-based, which I almost want to describe as sickening. An activity I had so much love for years has turned into just going through the motions. And that's the last thing I want. The existential dread when I open my 1,000 plus game library. I want that gone. I want to find that just childlike wonder again. On the topic of games that I'm truly excited for coming out on PC, well, Bloodborne, but that's a complete uncertainty. Stellar Blade looks super cool, and I'm glad I got such positive reviews. Same for Ghost of Tsushima and its sequel coming soon, Ghost of Yotai. They seem like games I'd love. Lies of P looks right up my alley too, and I got so excited when they finally announced Nioh 3. Nioh and Nioh 2 have just been 2 of my favorite games of all time, and I can't wait for the 3rd one. Oh, and shout out to Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. As someone who loves the Elder Scrolls games, that seems like a title to keep in mind. Same for Witchfire. Hope that's grand when it comes out of early access. One of my goals for the next year is to get a computer good enough to play Black Myth Wukong, as well as Indiana Jones The Great Circle, and perhaps even Crimson Desert. That would rule. But my top 3 would probably go to Inazuma 11 Victory Road, 007 First Light, and Europa Universalis 5. Inazuma 11 because, well, the first game and all its sequels were all me and my buddy Sabi played on DS when we were kids. That and Pokemon. Oh god, yeah, Pokemon hacks and fan games, that's again a whole nother can of worms, not for this video, but yes, I have a million of those still to play. Anyway, Victory Road seems super sick, and it's super dope to finally have an Inazuma 11 game on PC. And if you don't know what that entails, it's football with superpowers, that's a TLDR. 007 First Light, because I've loved every Hitman game, yes, even Absolution in its own stupid way. And I'm extremely curious how they handle a massive property like 007 respectfully in a story sense, and entertainingly in a gameplay sense. And well, Europa Universalis 5, because EU4 is my most played game of all time behind World of Warcraft, and I'm a map autist, so I gotta get my fix somehow. I just hope Paradox doesn't ruin it with copious amounts of overpriced DLC again. Oh wait, that's their MO unfortunately. Regardless, I'm going to love it, that's a given. Now, anyway, I've talked off your ear about a million different games. Does this mean I'm suddenly going to play any? Probably not, but there is hope, and I hope we can get some good discussions going in the comments. I will take whatever suggestions y'all have on board, and I'll try my best to do better. For now, thank you, and good night.